Hello everyone, and welcome to Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Absolute. This is a decompilation of the mobile port brought onto a PC for your viewing pleasure. There's a lot to talk about in Sonic 2, and not a whole lot of time to play Sonic 2, so I might be speedrunning a little bit of my commentary here and there, so just try to keep with me. I'm so very sorry. So, for starters, Sonic 2 is built off of Sonic 1. And if you're already telling about the gameplay, if you saw the last little series that we did, this already looks a lot like Sonic 1. I mean, down to the level design, like the stage just looks like Green Hill Zone. But this is Emerald Hill Zone, one of my, kid you not, probably my favorite Sonic level. If only just for the music and the fact that it is Green Hill without actually being Green Hill. But I digress. So, it's the Sonic 2, right? You got this Sonic, right? And you saw the spin dash, brand new game mechanic. And hold on, look at this special stage. Yep, they're in the checkpoints now and not in the end of the level. So it's the same dealio. You have to get 50 rings to even be able to go into the special stage. But once you're in here, you're as good as gold. I will say part of the problem with Sonic 2 is not knowing Tails is as cumbersome as he is in the special stages alone, and that's really it. That's like the worst thing I can say about Sonic 2 for the most part. That and Chemical Plant is just a little crazy for a second level, but I mean, in regards of like what we had previously with Sonic 1, I shouldn't really be giving Sonic 2 too much flack about level design, but I digress. And I might end up saying that a lot in this video. Shout out to Clement for whatever reason. You can see that Sonic and Tails have two separate ring counters. This is carried over whenever they actually get hit by like the little floating bombs that you see, those spherical things, these things right there. Those are gonna get rid of your rings. They act like normal hit stuff, and the whole goal is to just progress through the half pipe with as many rings as you can. There are ring goals and stuff, but you just want to get all the rings. That's your mentality. Don't look at the number. Don't try to count. You don't do that. Just get the rings, and you should be pretty good from there. So I'm gonna try not to talk too much about the special stages because there are 6 more of them, and we do them all in like rapid succession here. So, yay. And thankfully, unlike Sonic 1, there are more than one checkpoints in every level, right? So, actually, I think Sonic 1 had multiple checkpoints in every level, but unlike Sonic 1, the special stages, you're allowed to go through more than one in the checkpoints, which is even better, because now you can do what I'm doing here and just get a bunch of them at the start of the game, because why not? I guess to continue the Sonic 1 comparisons on a little bit more while we're just stuck in the special stages. The game pretty much feels the same, it controls the same. There's a handful of things that are different, but it's all like really small, tiny little details that I really actually don't even want to touch on as of right now, because I'm planning on doing another Sonic 2 video where I talk about everything else about Sonic 2 that doesn't have to do with the game itself, because, again, Sonic 2, I mean, it's a big game, but you go through it so fast, you know? You don't have the time to really stop and smell the roses, if you will. You definitely do, but I just don't. And also, this is I'm doing this post play session, so like I've already played the game. This has all been recorded already. I'm just commentating over it. In fact, I went through, and this is just funny little tangent, but I went through and I had to like render this like 3 or 4 times because I was so stubborn while editing. I just kept I kept in a lot of like the mistakes and stuff, and I only noticed after I rendered each video, so I actually had to render this like 4 or 5 times, which is like nobody else's fault but mine, really. It's just kind of funny. I thought I'd mention it while we had a moment to spare. But I gotta say, the level transitions, one of my favorite little touches in this game. Sonic 1 didn't have that, they just had a little funny little ball thing, and that was just kind of it. This game has a whole sequence, I guess you could say. It really is just a transition, and I don't want to hype it up more than it is, you know, but at the end of the day, it's still like cool graphic design. I'm like gonna hold on to that, even if it is just like a bunch of triangles and squares, or a bunch of squares that make triangles, because this game is 16-bit. And oh yeah, Sonic's sprite also changed very slightly. Not as much as it will change between Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, but it did change. There are a couple like sprites and stuff, and we'll talk about more of like the technical and the little details once we get to like the end of the game and we talk about stuff later on in the next video. But yeah, no, Sonic sprite has a couple of like carryovers from Sonic 1. So there are sprites from Sonic 1 that just didn't get like a new design, but that's mostly just because they're sprites made for Sonic 2, and presumably the sprite changes to Sonic's design happened after these sprites had already been made. So they had to make new sprites for this game, but then realized that they wanted to change Sonic's look, so they made all the sprites different, and they just forgot to change the ones that they had from not making new Sonic game, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. I'm a little enamored by the special stage right now, and all my train of thought is just going to the bottom of the barrel. Quite literally. But the special stages in this game aren't as... I'd say Sonic 1 special stages are easier, but that's only because like of the actual skill required in Sonic 2 special stages. Sonic 1 special stages are easier if you can put up with the crazy stuff happening on screen. If you can't, then Sonic 2 is just going to be a better time for you. But that's not saying much, because this game already still has like a pretty trippy special stage. And it doesn't help that it's like 16-bit and on the Genesis. Tails, what are you doing? And while I have another moment to talk about Tails in this game, so the lore between Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, I didn't really discuss it in the Sonic 1 Let's Play, but I guess we have a moment to talk about it now. The story of Sonic 1 is pretty much as simple as it gets, and you basically saw the story of Sonic 1 in the Let's Play. Sonic is on an island, and he encounters Robotnik, and then he frees all the animal buddies, and that's pretty much it. Robotnik just happened to stumble upon this island that was like floating in the middle of like nowhere in the ocean, and the funniest thing about the island in Sonic 1, the game where the game takes place, it's just an island that moves around in the water. Like, it just changes its position because it can, I guess. And that's the point of it. That's like the joke. And it's supposed to be like, oh, it's probably because of the Chaos Emeralds, maybe. It's just never touched on again. That's like the last time we hear about like an island floating around and doing stuff like that in the Sonic universe. It's really funny. And I guess to that same extent, Sonic doesn't even come from that island. You would think that the game, you know, where like the first Sonic game where, you know, we're introduced to Sonic would be like his birthplace. But no, he's born on an entirely separate island called Christmas Island, which is just one of those bits of trivia that I adore. Like so much in Sonic is stuff like that where it's like, you don't need this. Why do you have this? This is a game about a fast blue guy going fast. Why even bother? But Sonic 2, it's pretty much the same deal, except this time the island doesn't float around the water. South Island, I'm pretty sure it's South Island, but I might be wrong. If I don't remember the name of the island from Sonic 1, you're seeing it on screen now. But if I got the island name wrong, if it's not actually South Island, you're getting the real title of this game's location on screen now. Very cool. But yeah, Sonic flew to this island on his plane that he has, for some reason, and he encounters Robotnik again, and along in this journey he finds Tails, who is this guy, of course. He's a two-tailed fox little guy, and he can fly around on his 2 tails like they're propellers on an airplane. I guess that's probably why Sonic had the plane to begin with. For, I guess, just like context for the 2 kids who do not know how planes work. And the dynamic between the 2 in this game isn't really established. I mean, Sonic doesn't really have a character to begin with as of yet, and Tails, I mean, to the same extent, isn't really fleshed out. It's just kind of like they're there, and they kind of have like this brotherly dynamic where Tails is like the younger brother to Sonic, and that kind of persists throughout the series, but we'll get more into that when we get later on into the series, because I have a lot more to say about that later on, and it trust me, it gets more interesting. I'd say that Tails, Eggman, and Shadow, for whatever reason, I want to lump Knuckles in there too, but those 4 characters, and Amy, those 5 characters have the most story and character development out of anyone else in the series, and the only way you can prove me wrong or try to convince me otherwise is to make a statement about Sonic and have it make sense, because his character is like pretty static throughout the entire franchise, throughout the entire series, and that's just because of the brand. I've always kind of assumed that. But, you know, that being said, it is a little impressive how much they're willing to stretch Sonic and his personality, and I admire Sega and Sonic Team for doing that a whole lot, because for all intents and purposes, Sonic is like, really, he's Sega's Mickey Mouse, you know, and I just can't like imagine how much of a burden, how much stress it might be to just be working on a Sonic game, let alone be a Sonic fan. That's stressful enough, let me tell you. But like his ability to be so dynamic while staying so the same is, I gotta say, it's pretty impressive. I do want to hand one to Sega, but that's about as far as I will take it, because this is a Sonic 2 Let's Play. It has virtually no story, and I'm talking about Sonic's character and his character development later on in the franchise. So again, I probably won't touch on that ever again, because that's, like I said, that's everything I have to say about that. There's nothing else. It's just small little details and just noticing things as time goes on. Like that's a level of perception that like only Dragon Ball fans have, like with Goku, you know? It's like whatever. I'm not here to talk about Dragon Ball. We'll talk about Dragon Ball later. And all that good stuff, yeah. What emerald is this? This is the 5th emerald. Okay, great. I don't have anything to say right now. I kind of exhausted my thought process for a minute. I've let out my verbal diarrhea, and now it's just gone. Shout out to the spike bug, by the way. I actually went out of my way to turn that on for this playthrough, and you can see that pause right there was me regretting it instantly. So there's that for you guys. I think I showed off the spike bug in the Sonic 1 Let's Play too, so I don't know why I felt the need to show it off here. It's definitely not that I just accidentally hit the spike or anything. It was intentional. Yeah. And I don't know if I get a bubble shield again, but earlier on in the video you saw I had a shield on, and they work the same way as they did in Sonic 1. But just like Sonic 1, it messes with the YouTube video compression for some reason, and I always thought it was really funny. It's been one of those little details that I can't help but love. You can see me restarting here. Thankfully, we have the checkpoint system, because we're doing this in Sonic 2 Absolute, so I can actually just restart from a checkpoint and keep the special stage win that I got. And you can see here, I'm collecting more rings so that I can go through another special stage, because believe it or not, there's another checkpoint in this level. And yes, I get the other emerald. Before you have any questions. I'm sorry to spoil it for you guys, but I mean, there's only so much to expect right now. But yeah. Alright, where is it? Here it is. the final special stage of Emerald Hill Zone. And I guess while we have a moment, I want to talk about this little like 3D effect that they have going on here. It's pretty cool. That's just it, you know. Say the Genesis kind of just showing off what it can do here, and that's pretty much it. 3D sprites, yay! It's I think it's neat, and I think they did a really good job, like with the actual artwork. I'm not so sure as to why they're so shiny, you know? Although I'm not as opposed to it, and you know, as time goes on, I feel more attached to like the more shinier look of Sonic characters than I do the more flocked versions of Sonic characters, I guess. Like you get in like, I guess just really Sonic Unleashed is really the only time you get that. Yeah, before the movie came out, the most you got out of like furry Sonic stuff was like flocked action figures and stuff like that, which were interesting for, you know, when they came out and, you know, what they are, and that being like a furry Sonic figure. But nowadays we have the Sonic movie and that whole design. But man, I kind of missed like normal Sonic being flocked just slightly, because say like it was always like a game of tug of war with like merchandise and stuff like that. It's like, how much can we make Sonic actually just be an animal without making him not look like blue Mickey Mouse, you know? And I'm sticking on that. I'm really gonna stick to that. You know, Sonic's design has a lot in common with a Mickey Mouse. And I'm not gonna say that Sonic copies Mickey Mouse, because if anything, Sonic copies Goku more than he copies Mickey Mouse. And I'm just saying that now, I'm letting it be known. That's just how it is. I don't think it's that crazy of a connection to make, because they share very similar facial structures too. And that's something that I like to boil down to some people who just aren't always like comprehending what I mean by that. Sonic has the quills you see on his back, and in early Sonic promotional stuff, material, merchandise, I guess you could say, Sonic always had like 3 quills, no matter what. Like Japan, he had 3 quills. America, he had 3 quills. Like more Mohawky over here in America. Don't look at these 2 images side by side. It will make you regret everything. But they like, I don't know. It just like the 3 quills thing kind of stuck. So every time you see Sonic from like an angle, most of the time, like especially if it's like animated in 2D, they'll try to keep that like the Sonic Team logo, that design, that 3 quills pointed at the end of his back, kind of like how Mickey Mouse has his 2 ears moving around with him at all times. And it's a nice little touch, and I enjoy that kind of thing. It's fun, it's adorable, I love it. And you know, bendy proportions, this and that, like all kinds of stuff. There are similarities. I'm not here to rag on Sonic for being Mickey Mouse. I'm not here to rag on Sonic for being Goku. I'm here to play Sonic 2 in the past tense. Look at me play Sonic 2. I'm watching me play Sonic 2. We're here together. But man, these half pipes, there is something there. Ugh, it's hard. Like getting the rings up at the top especially is pretty difficult, because you have to keep your momentum going from side to side. So you can't really just like hold left and just go on to the top. You have to like actually have some speed with you. You'll see later on me kind of like struggling to like reach the top when they're placing more rings up overhead. It definitely gets harder. It also gets harder when Tails does stuff like that. You can see what I mean when I mean like Tails is more of a hindrance in these special stages than he is actually helping you. It's rough for Tails in this game, I won't even lie. But you can play as him, so he's got that going for him. It's not much, but he's got that. I'm also pretty sure there's a way that you can swap it. Maybe you can like put Tails in the front or something. I might be thinking of like a different port of this game, but maybe, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's been forever since I've really like gone into Sonic 2, like dissected it and stuff like that. I'm just here to play the game. talk to you guys about the game, verbal diarrhea as much as I can about everything Sonic 2 and Sonic 2 related before I get to the bounds round. And I'm calling it the bounds round because I don't want to call it the bonus video, because that's basically what it is. It's just the Sonic 2 bonus video. But I figured, you know, if I'm basically just kind of sort of doing something that everyone else already has, why not just like full send it and just call it a bounds round? Just make Kid Icarus upset at the same time. I'm a Crash fan. I think I can get away with it. And oh my god, look, there's Mickey Mouse in the grass right there. He's a flower. Look, it's all coming full circle. Shout out to Tails for breaking the capsule for me. And with that, we finally beat Emerald Hill Zone. That might have been the longest time anyone's been in Emerald Hill Zone, but yeah, there it is. It's completed. And on to Chemical Plant. I actually want to take a moment, talk about the music in this game, because I didn't want to say too much while we were still in Emerald Hill, because it was kind of sort of just more Green Hill. Like, completely different song, absolutely, but it had the same vibe to it. Chemical Plant, I guess the closest thing to this stage in Sonic 1 would be Scrap Brain, and, you know, not to throw shade at Sonic 1 or anything, but, like, this game just slaps. I don't know what it is, I don't know what they were cooking up in the sound department. I don't know what's going on with the video compression right now. It's that bad. It's always great playing this game, and you know, having Sonic move faster than the camera, but it's definitely terrible and a hindrance whenever you're like trying to record this game, because like Lord knows that these sprites don't go fast enough. You can see me struggle right there because I'm like, oh, I didn't hit a checkpoint. But it's okay, because I'm pretty sure we get our last emerald in the next zone. So I will see you there. Hello, we're there. You thought that was the end of the video, didn't you? No, absolutely not. What do you think this is? A Sonic 1 Let's Play where I cut it into parts for every like 20 minutes we're in one level? Absolutely not. This is a edited Sonic 2 Let's Play commentary thingamajig. I don't even want to call it a Let's Play, really, because I have this weird philosophy, and that's just really it. I have this weird philosophy where I'm like, a Let's Play it's like you're playing the game real time as you're recording it, and a commentary is like this, where it's like I played the game in the past and now I'm commentating over it, and it's like, for the viewer, it's the same thing, really, but you're just not hearing me hit the buttons, and I have to like keep up with myself in the past, which is a whole other thing on its own. I'd actually say doing a Let's Play is easier, and I say that with a big swallow in my throat, because I've been doing YouTube and commentaries and stuff like this for like ever, but hardly ever do I really play a game and then commentate over it after the fact. This is rare and new for me, so I figured that it'd be a little fun to do it with Sonic. And more fitting, because half the time I'm not sure if I want to incorporate more people into this, and if I do want to, it'd be best for me to just do it this way and after the fact and all that. This way I can go through, cut out all the parts that are not interesting, and I have more time to, I guess, laser focus in on the actual interesting parts of the game. But I digress. Here we are, in the final special stage of the game. See, I have... That's part of the reason why I don't... I say it's easier to do a Let's Play, because it feels more natural to, like, sing along and, like, play... Like, have more fun around with everything that I'm talking about. And in a commentary, I have to be more professional. Like, there's this air that I have to it. It's just, I've filled the room with this intensity that I just can't let go of now, because I've got to be as hype as the video. It's easy to be as hype as the video when I'm playing the game, because it's interactive media. Right now, what you're having right now, this is a sitcom. This is a TV show kind of thing. You are watching someone else play a game, and for as much fun as that may be, it's not it's a completely different vibe for the person actually sitting there and doing the thing, you know? I think the only people who can really understand where I'm coming from with that might be like Smash commentators or esports in general, I guess, commentators. I shouldn't really lump Smash commentators into that group. I don't like Smash commentators. They're a bunch of nerds. I say that because I'm basically a Smash commentator with my whole idea, my amiibo tournament stuff. But you know, that's another video, and that's stuff that we'll get to later on. And this is me doing the YouTube thing. I'm like commentary, you know? Now I'm telling you everything that I'm doing. Oh man. Why do anybody watch my videos? Why do anybody watch my videos? Can I title that? I'm gonna put text over that. Like the whole ADHD YouTuber thing, like that gets that treatment right there. I love calling that the ADHD YouTuber thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have ADHD, if not ADD, but like it's still funny to me to just call it the ADHD YouTuber thing, because that's totally what it is. Like you're trying to keep your viewer engaged in what you're saying by just putting text over it. It's like, I mean, if you want to go to that degree, just caption your whole video. I'm taking a really long pause here because I'm thinking about it now, and I don't even want to caption a whole video. So I take that back, kind of. But I still kind of stand by what I said, despite being the hypocrite. Like, I am the biggest hypocrite in the world. I should title this video, Plasma-Pal admits to being a Sonic fan and also a hypocrite. The two things I never want to be called: a Sonic fan and a hypocrite. Damn. 210 rings. Let's see if I get it. I do. I already know I do. Why do I even try? It's so mean of them to put the rings out here like that. Like, they just put them everywhere. They don't even keep them all clumped up together and everything. It's just so wrong. But I pretty much win here. I'm pretty sure. Man, the special stage goes on a while. They really want you to hit that ring goal. And the background is giving me a seizure. This is not the only time this happens in a Sonic game. If the Sonic 1 special stage didn't give you a seizure, that's good. You should be prepared for the rest of Sonic games, honestly. They just move really fast, is all you have to remember. Just imagine Sonic being a car, and you're good. No more worse for wear. Just don't play the 2D Sonic games and you might be fine. I apologize for the... You know, I want to apologize for people who have epilepsy, but I just gotta ask, why are you watching a Sonic playthrough on YouTube if you have epilepsy? What's wrong with you? Go look at an eclipse. Don't do that. That's terrible advice. But you're already here, so I guess you should know. By now you should have everything checked out. I don't think an eclipse will give someone epilepsy. Don't science that. Please, for the love of God. The last thing I want to do is be a hypocrite, a Sonic fan, and the reason someone has a seizure all in one video. I'm checking off boxes here today. Someone needs to lock me up. Maybe for just being a Sonic fan, you know what? Just put the handcuffs on me already. Look at that. I messed up. Look at Tails' little doggy paddle animation. Go back in the video, rewind. Look at it. Yes, the infamous section of Chemical Plant Zone. The part everyone got stuck in as a kid. Myself included. I will admit to having trouble in this part. Not as much as like everyone else. I still beat Sonic 2 as a kid. I I gotta be honest. I don't know what it is about this part. It's probably just the fact that you have a tendency to start drowning right here, and you know the drowning sound effect is pretty much as tense as it gets when it comes to like tense video game music. Really, the only thing that comes closer to that is like Latin, like Dark Souls boss fight music stuff. And then there's the Sonic the Hedgehog drowning theme. Anyway, Dr. Oh yeah, Supersonic. Talk about him later. Not important. Dr. Robotnik here. He's got a lot more menacing gadgets on his Eggmobile this go around. And actually, this is something that I don't think I really paid too much mind into in the Sonic 1 playthrough, but yeah, Eggman has a tendency to kind of like almost be a little too thematically relevant to like the underlying story of everything that's going on. The more you look at Sonic lore, is really just the more it becomes Eggman doing stuff and Sonic stopping him, the story. And you know, I mean, yeah, of course, but like really, Eggman is the main character and Sonic is the reactionary plot device, if that makes any sense. So, I mean, I kind of think of it like how, if I don't want to compare it to Dragon Ball again. I was actually just gonna compare it to Dragon Ball again. That's awful and terrible of me. But yeah, no, his contraptions, his like little, I guess, harm devices, they get more menacing throughout this, like, as you progress in Sonic 1. You know, it starts off with the ball and chain, and then you get to Marble Zone. It's just kind of like a spike at the bottom of his Eggmobile, and you know, Elaborate Zone, he just runs away from you. Like, the perception I get from that in Sonic 1, from a narrative perspective, it seems like Eggman is, like, just not prepared for Sonic. And in Sonic 2, he's, like, he's got all these things, he's ready for him, all of his robots are out, like, they all look more menacing, they all have things that can hurt Sonic more frequently. And it works not just from, like, a gameplay perspective, because it's like, oh, now I'm playing Sonic 2, and, you know, things are harder. It works from like a narrative perspective, because it's like, yeah, of course Eggman, the wicked mad scientist, would try harder to kill Sonic, you know?